Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will provide a presentation on the drug war in Mexico covering the years 2006 through 2016. The goal of the presentation is to provide a brief background on how the drug war began and then to show the effects that it's had on crime rates in Mexico over the past 10 years. So, just for some background, I work in integrated risk management and I have a lot of clients who have supply chains and business operations in Mexico. And so I've developed kind of a side interest in following cartel activity because it really has a very strong impact on supply chains and business operations in Mexico, and is actually a very disruptive force. So I just want to let you guys know that some of this data that I will present is in aggregate form for each of the Mexican states. And taking this in mind, a state may show a large number of homicides, but if it has a large population, then the homicide rate may actually be lower than other states that have a lower overall aggregate number of homicides. So the history of drug trafficking in Mexico dates back to the early 1900s. It really increased slowly over the decades, but began to proliferate rapidly in the 1980s due to the fall of the Medellin and Cali cartels in Colombia, as well as negative economic policy changes in the U.S. and Mexico, and regional anti-narcotics efforts that destroyed what can be called a pax mafioso of sorts and ended up pitting a number of rival smaller organizations against one another, which really led to a lot of violence. Since then, violence, or I should say, violence really increased from that period through 2006. And at that point, then President Felipe Calderon launched what is known as the War on Drugs. And that war on drugs really hasn't ended. It's been going on for the last 10 years or so. But when he launched his war on drugs, he dispatched the military to different parts of Mexico to restore law and order. And initially, the operation had some success. So you can see 2006 through 2007, the number of homicides fell. But from 2007 through 2011 and 12, the homicide rate in Mexico just exploded, especially in the northern states of Chihuahua, Sonora, Baja California, and Tamaulipas. And actually, in parts of Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez, those parts of those two cities really saw a gigantic spike in homicide and assaults that could really have rivaled war zones. Um, but what we're seeing today is that a lot of what we saw after 2012 was there was a drop off, but starting in 2015 and through 2016 and even into early 2017, we've really seen the number of drug cartels in Mexico multiply, and they're all battling one another for traffic or for control over drug trafficking routes, as well as access to clandestine areas, territories for poppy and marijuana cultivation. So, if we look at some of the regional crime rates, they all showed a fairly significant increase from 2006 through 2011. I broke Mexico up into four regions: the southwestern states, northwestern states, the southeastern states, and the northeastern states. And as you can see, they all kind of had a dip. The southwestern states really are the only region of the country that has seen continual growth in homicides and other crime statistics. So that's fairly worrying for people that are in southwestern Mexico. I've also broken up crime rates through 2006 through 2016. These are national police statistics that I took over the past several years. And actually, I'll walk you through this. So this is 2006. So we're starting 2006. These are these are homicides. And you can see how homicides through the drug war have kind of really increased, especially in Chihuahua. 2010 through 2012, and now number of homicides is starting to decrease. In 2016, we can see a large number or high number of homicides in the Southwest. We can also look at other types of crime like extortion rates, as well as sexual assaults and robbery. So we can see Baja California, which is where Tijuana is, has a high level of robbery. And we can also see how it's changes per state down here at the bottom. So Chihuahua State, this is Michoacan. So over the past several years, Mexico has experienced a sort of balkanization. There are a few well-established cartels like the Sinaloa cartel and Los Zetas, but really there's just a number of fragmented groups, as you can see from this map. And current President Enrique Peña Nieto has established a number of programs to really go after cartel violence, especially in the 50 municipalities of Mexico where there's the highest crime rates. But as of 2017, we've really seen an increase in crime, especially homicide, assault, robbery, and kidnapping. So I'm of the opinion that 2017, we're going to continue to see an overall increase in violent crime, in all types of crime in Mexico, especially in the northwestern part of the country, as the Sinaloa cartel has actually started to disintegrate and to break up into smaller groups, which are battling with one another and their rivals for control over drug trafficking territories. So if you're interested to discuss this more, I'm very interested in cartel violence and cartel activity in Mexico, and I'd be happy to share more. Thanks so much.